Welcome to Learning Partners. So as you can see in the image, we are going to cover the basic JavaScript concepts just to start with programming with. Okay. So we will cover what are the variables and how objects are there, like string, integer, datetime, boolean, objects. Then again we have array. Then condition, if else, else if we are going to see. In for loop, we are going to see the for loop, how we continue, how we break the for loop. Then in events, we will normal see the on click, on change, on mouse over, on mouse out event. Then in storage, session storage and the local storage. So these are the various topics we are going to see. So this video is mainly focused for the beginner level. Okay, we won't be going into the deep, just the basic information to start learning all the topics we will be covering. Okay, let's start. I have created one HTML page. Let me minimize this. Okay, so as I have told you, like we will start with the basic variable declaration. So as you can see, this is the normal HTML page. Okay, so inside that I have a script tag. So let's see. Now I will open the console here. So like variables as in, what are the data types we have in JavaScript when we have to store some data. Okay, variables mean those who don't know variable. Let's say we have a text box. Input type text. Okay, and we have a button get value. Okay, let it be. So we want events we are yet to see. So if I have to read the data from this text box, okay, so what I have to do, I have to just provide one unique ID name. Okay, so in I'm typing in console document dot get element by ID. Inside that, in double quote, we have to pass our element ID. Okay, so with this line, we have selected that particular element. Out of that, we need value and press enter. Cannot read properties. Okay, let me save and reload. Okay, so currently you can say empty. But if I type something over here, let's say demo, and again if I run this same, so you can see we have got the value which is there in the text box. Okay, now we have to store this value into some variable. Okay, so just like we have to store this value, whatever the text box value we get, into some variable. Means variables is like a kind of a memory location which will be created once you declare the variable. Okay, so for that I'm writing here var number is equal to 1 2 3. Okay, so this is how we declare the variable var then number equal to an assignment operator and 1 2 3 value. So this is the we have stored the data of type integer type. Next, var name is equal to, name will be again, let's say in the string, it will be a characters only, alphabet, so we have to enclose that in a double quotes or a single quote, both will work. So let's say demo name. Okay, this is integer, this is string, then var current date. Okay, suppose if we have to store the current, if we have to get the current date, so we have new date round bracket curly bracket semicolon. Okay, so this will get us the current date. Okay, after that var is Indian. So we have boolean like true and the false value, so we can make it true over here. Okay, so these are the basic data type we have. Let's save this and print it in console dot log double quotes number is then plus, either you can use plus or comma, both will work, number, like this I will do for all the variables. So console is just to print the values over here. You will get the values over here. Whatever the console lines console statements we are writing, you will get it over there in the console. Current date and is Indian. Same, it will go over here. Okay, so let me save and reload. Okay, so you can see in console we have got number is 1 to 3. Whatever we have stored in this variable, we have got that. Then demo name we have got this with new date. What we have written over here, new date, it has just the return complete date along with time also. Okay, and the boolean value. Okay, if we have to see like how does it look, so we can add a debugger like this over here, save it, and let's reload. So you can see once wherever we have the debugger, you can see the execution has stopped there. Okay, now if you hover the mouse on this variable, you can see 1 2 3 demo and is Indian, true and false, whatever we are storing. So everything you can see. So this is how variable looks like. Okay, these are all the basic types of variable. Okay, let's say we want to store the list of some cities, okay, or list of some student names. Okay, so for that we have to create array. So array is like, again, we have to make use of the var only. Let me, okay, so I am just separating the basic code. This was variable declaration, variables, primitive variables. Let me minimize this. Okay, now we are starting with hash region. Now we are starting with array. Hash and region. So that we can minimize this like this. Okay, with region. Then var, let's say student array, student list. This is my variable name equal to. Then array start with square bracket symbol. Okay, so now in this array we are going to store names of the student. So student names will be again in the string. So we have to use this double quotes or single quote, anything, comma, double quote, then comma, double. Okay, inside this we have to provide, let's say, Sachin, Saurabh, okay. So we have created a variable which is name is student list, but in this variable we have stored array. So array is identified by square bracket, and inside that we can have the any type of data. Like this is a array of string. Okay, like that. Let's say we need array of integers. So for that we need to create, let's say, roll number list is equal to, again square bracket, then 222, comma 221, comma 221, comma 222, comma 223, 224, any number of whatever you need. Okay, so in the first array we have added 3 element of the string data type. In the next array we have added a 4 element of integer. Okay, so likewise you can create the array. Now this is the basic, I mean, what you can say, this is the array of primitive data type. Okay, now next thing is object, region, object. Okay, so what is object? Let's see the variable declaration. Instead of this, let me create 3 variables. Let's say var first name is equal to Sachin. Then again we have to create a variable var middle name is equal to R. Then again next variable var last name is equal to, let's say, Tendulkar. Okay, so we have created, we are storing the information of one player. Okay, so we have to create 3 variables. to separate the first name, middle name, last name, like that. We can have where city is equal to Mumbai. Okay, but this is getting what we are saying, because unnecessary we are creating so many variables. All this information is related to a player. Okay, so we can create a variable where we will store all these four properties into one variable. Okay, rather than creating all four variables, we will create just one variable, and inside that we will store all the first name, middle name, last name, and the city, all the information. Okay, so how can we do that? So we can do that using objects. So we can make sure like where, let's say, player info is equal to, now object, like I have discussed, like array start with square brackets, so object will start with curly bracket. Okay, so in curly bracket we can add multiple properties, colon, then double quotes, and whatever the value we have to store, like Sachin will be here, comma, then again middle name, this is the second property, or field or key also you can say, comma, then third field, again column, then the value, again comma, then city, colon, then our value. Okay, so if you can see the structure, this is what object look like. This is a variable declaration, after that equal to, then object will start with the curly bracket. Inside curly bracket we will have key value pair data. So as you can see, this is a key, this is a value, this is a key, this is a value, this is a key, this is a value. Okay, so let's try to console print it. Console.log, then player object. Okay, let's save and check it. If I refresh, let's see how object will look like. Now I am doing the F10, execute line by line. This was the array, sorry, this is the array. So you can see array also how it looks. See, if I hover on the student list, you can see it is an array, and the list length is 3 elements. Okay, indexing will start from 0, 1, 2. Okay, same with roll number also, 0, 1, 2, 3. Total length is 4. Okay, now these were the normal variable. Okay, you can see this is the normal variable. But once I press F10, now I am hovering on the player info. So you can see it has mentioned object over here, and all the properties will look like this. Got it? So this is how object look like. How do we write it? Equal to and curly bracket. Array denoted by square bracket and object denoted by curly braces. Okay, so that's what we are printing. So in console you can see this is the whole object. Okay, this is the whole object. Let's say I need a particular information, I just need a city of that player, so I can do player info dot, we can access all the properties by using dot. See, if I'm removing this and I'm just adding a dot, so you can see these are the four properties we have. I can select any of it. Let's save and check. Continue. In the console you can see this is the object first console, and this is the second console where we have printed just city only. Okay, now this is like we have created the object and added some field also while creating the object. Let's say another scenario, we will create an empty object where employee obj is equal to curly bracket. So this is object which doesn't have any keys. Okay, before this let's see one more thing. Now instead of we at the time of declaration we have done this. After console I'm doing like this, city, instead of city I'm making it state is equal to Maharashtra. Okay, now what will happen, at the time of initialization we have just added 4 field, but after some number of lines we have again written like this, player info dot state. Now this state property we don't have it present over here. but we have written like this. So what will happen? So just reload. I'm just adding a debugger over here. Either you can write the debugger or else you can click on this number to activate the debugger on that particular line. I'm continuing. Okay. So as you can see in the player info, we have just 4 properties. Okay. Now, once this two console line get print, now after this line, see if I hover on this, you can see state also getting added. Okay. So if you have to add one more property to the particular object, you just have to use like this only dot state and provide the values. Okay. I hope it is clear. Next thing, like while creating this object, we have provided the fields also. Okay, but in case of employee object, we haven't added any fields. Okay, so like that, we can add properties like employee object dot emp name is equal to something demo employee. Okay, this is a one way of adding field into existing object. Another way is like employee object, then square bracket, then inside that single quote, then emp city again same equal to Pune. Okay, then I will be printing that. Let's try to print the complete object first, that is employee object, and out of that I will be printing employee city. Let's save and reload. Continue. So here you can see. Okay, so in once I hover on the employee object, currently it is an object but it doesn't have any field. Okay, but if I press F10, now if you hover you can see one field is there because we have added field like this. Again next, now you can see two fields are added, employee city also. So either you can add any field to an existing object like using dot or using square bracket and inside that single quote and your field name and then equal to value. Okay, continue. So you can see this is a whole object, employee object. Then out of that, in the next console, you can see only city what we have printed. Okay, so this is about object. Let me close this. Let me minimize this. Okay, coming back to array now. So as we have discussed, like in array, we can have either array of all the string or either array of integer. Likewise, we can have an array of object also. Okay, so let's say we will create an array of employee object where employee object array is equal to, so array always start with square bracket, so square bracket. Then how object look like? Object will look like this. So I'm copying this and pasting it over here. This is one object. Like here you can see this is one data, one element with of type string. This is one element of type string. After that we have comma. So for in case of object of array, this is one element. After that comma, then again second, comma, again second. Now let's change the name. Rahul and you Sabra. Okay, so now we have an employee object array which is storing the array of object. This is student list is having the array of string. Roll number list is having the array of integers. But employee object array is having the array of objects. You can see this is one object, this is second, this is third. Okay, so let's try to print this also. Let's just save console.log. We haven't printed array, so let's print all of them. Let me just format this. Console.log, console.log, console.log. First we will print student list. Student list. Okay, and then we have roll number list. Then we have employee object array. Save and check it now. On 52 line number, I will add the debugger. Continue. So as you can see, student list, then roll number, and here you can see the array of object will look like this. You can expand this like this, like this. Okay. Continue. Continue. And in console, you can see the object. Student list is like this. Roll number list is like this, and in the employee array, you can see object, object, object. Okay. So when you print the array object, you will get output like this. Okay. So this is everything about variable declaration. We have seen the normal primitive data types like string, integer, date, and the boolean. Okay. Then we have seen array also. Then we have seen object also, and the need of object. Like if you want to store multiple information into a single variable, that is the most easiest way to remember it. Okay. So object is also done. Let's see what do we have next. Okay. So condition. Now in console, okay, if I have a variable, we already have a variable that is Indian. Okay, if is Indian, okay, now if statement, I have to print something or alert something. If this variable is having true value, then I have to alert, means show the pop-up that demo name is Indian. Okay, if it is false, then we have to print something else. So for that we have if condition, opening closing, and inside if condition we have to pass the condition. If is Indian is equal to true, then curly braces. Inside that I can say alert. It will show us the small pop-up, and here we can say demo is Indian. Okay. Now if it is not Indian, it means if is Indian value is false, so it will go to the else block. Now here again we will use the alert only. Demo is not Indian. Semicolon and semicolon. Let's see. Check. Okay, so you can see demo is Indian what we have got. If I make this variable false, so it will go to the else block. See, demo is not Indian. Okay, so let's debug this now, how it will work. Continue. Okay, if I'm reloading, so see, currently we are at line number 21. If I say F10 means execute next line, so see where we are going in the else block. Okay, but if we make this value true, so now this condition will be validated, so if block will be executed. Reload. See, now it has gone to the if statement. This is how condition works. Okay. Okay, so this is how we write the conditions. So based on any condition we have to execute some lines, and based on the condition again we have to execute some other line. Okay, so this is just a sample example like of that. Here we have just compared like what is the value we have in is Indian. Okay, let's see. Let's compare it with name. If let's change the name to demo only. If name is having value of demo, then we will alert name is demo. Otherwise in else block, okay, if else is done, so now we will see else if again. So if else else if is like a multiple if statement, ladder of if statement. Okay, so for that again else, again if, again we can provide the condition if name is equal to demo, otherwise if name is equal to demo user, again else. Like that we can have as number of else condition we need. Okay, then finally else block will be there. Let's say employee demo emp demo to you the emp student. Okay, so now in the name variable currently we have demo, so this alert will be printed. Let me add the remaining, and here we will add no name phone. User is name is user, name is emp, name is student. Okay, so let's, so currently you can see name is demo what we have got. Okay, let me just remove all the debugger, and I'm commenting this for now, otherwise we will get so many pop-ups. So currently I'm getting name is demo because in the name variable the value is demo. Let's make it demo emp. So you can see in name, wait, not here. So currently in the name variable, what is the value we have? Demo emp. So if I save and reload, so you can see name is emp. So this block of code got executed. Okay. If I say name emp2, so do we have any if statement? This is demo user, this is demo emp, and this is demo student. Now demo emp2, no if statement is there matching this. So it will go to the else block. See, no name found. Okay, so if you have some condition where you have to check multiple conditions and then you need to perform some codes, okay, in that case you can go for the else if. Okay, let me remove this code, put it inside region. Here I'm putting this also over here. This is condition block. Okay, so now if conditions are done, then we have for loop and then events. Okay, so let's see what is for loop. Let's say as I have discussed array. Okay, so in array we have data of type multiple list. Okay, like here we have 3 elements, here we have 3 elements, here we have 4 elements. So what if I have to use the for loop? Means I have to iterate over all the elements I have. Okay, so for that we have to use the for loop. So let's create hash region for loop, hash and region. Okay, so how do we use the for loop? Now to write the for loop we have to use for, then we have 3 statements over here. First is the initialization. So initializations as in where this is index, means my for loop variable. I'm starting with 0. Then index less than or equal to array length. So I have to wait, before array we will just try to print 10 numbers up to, this is a condition, then index plus plus, this is incremental, then curly bracket and enter. Okay, so this is the basic structure of my for loop. As I've told you, like we have 3 statements. So first is the initialization, then condition, then incremental. So when the for loop first run, it will run this initialization for the first, then it will check the condition, then it will increment, then it will go inside it here. Then again it will come to the first it will increment the value, then it will check the condition, again it will goes. If the condition match, if the condition is true, then it will go inside, otherwise it will not. It will, the for loop will end. Okay. So inside this I am printing console dot log and index I will print. Let's add for, okay, let's save and check. Reload. Okay, so you can see for loop it has printed 0 to 10. Okay, it has printed up to 10 because we have added equal to. If we remove this equal to, it will print up to 9 only. See. Okay, so index start from the 0. Now if I add the debugger and if we make it up to 5 only, so now you can see this is first index is 0. Continue, continue. Now it has gone here. Now it has incremented that 0 to 1. Now it is checking the condition. If index is greater than less than 5 or not, then it will go inside. Again it will increment the index. Then it is checking the condition. Then again it will go inside because condition satisfied. It is less than 5. Now index value is 3. Again it is less. Now index is 3. Once we hit execute, it is 4. Again it is less than 5. Now index is 5, but it is not less than 5, so it will not go inside the for loop and for loop will complete. Okay, so that is how for loop will work. Now we have added, now we have, let's try to print the table of 2 or anything. So how do we print the table? So let's say table of 10 we will print. Indexing will start from 1 and it will be up to 10. So we have to use, we are going to print the table of 2. Or let's say 5 into 5 equal to that 5 into 2, sorry, sorry, 5 into index. What we have to do, save this, let's try to see the output. This will, okay, here it came inside. Let's continue the console. You can see 5 into 1 5, 5 into 2 10, 15. So we have got the table of 5. Okay, so with the simple for loop we have printed the table of any elements. Okay, so you can see currently we have hard coded this value 5. Okay, so that's why we have printed the table of 5 only. Okay, this is with the static. We have provided the end limit, like up till when we have to use the for loop. Let's say instead of this static 5 and 10, let's use the for loop on our array. So this is student list dot length. So whatever the length of the elements we have, currently we have 3 elements, so it will have the length 3. So we will print the data inside it. So now one more thing, like how do we access the data from the array? So we have to access the data using index. So here I will provide index over here. Okay, so you can see one more time code. Instead of this 5 and 10, what we have done, whatever the list of this array is, we have to run the for loop up till that time. Then we are trying to print student name. Okay, then we are printing the student name. Now to access the particular element from the array, we have to access that using index. Okay, so let's save and check it. In console you can see in student name what we have got, first name is Sachin, Saurabh and Rahul. Same only you can see over here. Let's just add a debugger and see how does it look. refresh. Okay, now if you hover on the student list, see indexing start from 0, 1, 2. Okay, if I have to access, let's say I'm going to console, this is my complete array, then square bracket, let's say 0, 0, so I will get such instead of 1 I will get the second, 2, third element. If I say 3, now on the fourth position we don't have four records, we just have records up to 3. So if we try to access the element which is not present in the array, so you will get the undefined. Okay, so same thing, this is how the, now instead of this static we have done that dynamic using index. Okay, so this is how we use the for loop on the array. Okay, next thing, just we'll just use one more for loop on the object of array. Okay, so now this is employee object. Now if you can see, same over here also, if we access the particular element from the employee object, we are going to get the object. Okay, so we have to show the particular field also, so I'm going to print, after this we will get object over here. Let me print this first and you will get to see what I'm talking about. So in console you can see student name is there. Let me change it, employee name. Okay, if I reload, say employee name, so you can see in employee name 3 times it is being printed, but same object is there. That's why we don't have 3 lines. Okay, because same data is there. But now let me add the debugger. Okay, so once I'm hovering on the employee object, so you can see 3 elements are there. Let me copy paste this, and in console let's pass 1. So you can see with this we got the complete object. So we need to tell, like, out of this object which property we need to print. So that's why then dot name. How do we read the particular field from the object? Using dot operator. Okay, so let's save and reload. So now you can see over here we have got searching. Continue. Then next we have got Rahul. Continue. Then next we have got Saurabh. Let's continue and check the console. So in here employee name, you can see we have access only name, first name out of this object array. Likewise you can access anything, either middle name, last name, or the city as well. Okay, so this is how we use the for loop. Okay, okay, so one thing is remaining, like continue and the break. So why do we need, let's say if we have got the name Rahul, if now inside the for loop I am using the if condition. If whatever the for loop is going on, if that name equal to Rahul, then we have to stop the for loop. Curly bracket, enter. So before we need this, we need to print this before the if statement. If the current for loop instance, whatever the array we have going on, if that first name we have got the Rahul, then we have to break it. So we just have to write break over here. So as you can see here, earlier what we have got the 3 record. Once it will get the Rahul, Saurabh won't be printed, so it will break the for loop. Okay, now reload. So you can see over here just Sachin and Rahul are printed. Okay, instead of, let's say we have got this, if we have added the condition for Sachin, so at the first index only it has got the Sachin, so it will stop array there itself. See, only Sachin name is printed. Now the Rahul and Saurav are not printed. Okay, so this is how we break the for loop. Now continue. If say, I'm just commenting this, or let it be like this. After this, again if statement. Now we are using if statement on the student list. If student list of index, this is the string, so we don't have to use dot operator. Equal to, let's see what things we have. Okay, if we go to is server, then we have to continue. Okay, so now I'm moving this at the end. Okay, so we have to continue. So if my current index is Saurabh, so I don't have to run the remaining line. Okay, so I will continue to the next step. So let's see. In the name print, student name, you can see Sachin is printed, but Saurabh is not printed because, let me enable the debugger. Okay, so now if student list is index is 0, so in student list at the 0 index we have Sachin. Okay, so now F10, it won't go inside the if statement because it is not matching. Then now index has been incremented. Now in student list, in currently index is 1. So on the first one index we have Saurabh, so it will go into that if block. Continue. So now this 102 line number won't execute. See, it has directly come to the next. 102 doesn't get executed because we have skipped that for loop. So all the next line, whatever the lines we have after this if statement, no, that won't execute. So this is the difference between break and the continue. Break is used to break the for loop, means complete the for loop. No more further iteration need to perform. But continue as in we just need to skip the current instance of the for loop. That's it. Okay. So this is everything what we have to do in the for loop. Continue. Okay, so next thing is events. So how do we write the event in JavaScript? Let's say, as we have already created one text box and I need to get the value of that text box. So we have a text box, and for that text box we have a ID also, and we have a button. So on click of this button, we need to get the value of that text box and print it in the alert box. Okay, so for that we have to write the event like on click. This is my event type. After that we need to pass the function read value opening closing. Since this is a function, now we have to create this function. How do we write the function? First function, then function name, round parenthesis, then curly braces. Okay, this is how we write the function in JavaScript. Function, then your function name, round parenthesis, then your curly braces. Okay, so here what we need to do, let's create a variable var name is equal to, we have to read the particular text box value. So first we have to select that particular text box using get element by ID, because we have provided the ID, so we can provide the ID over here. This is txt name. So with this much, what we have did, we have just selected this particular element. Out of that we need value. Okay, and we need to alert the value in alert box, that is name. Save. Okay, now if I say my name is Roshan. Okay, so once I click on the get value, let me enable the debugger and let's add the debugger also in the function. So you will get how that function is getting called. Okay, so once I clicked on this button, so you can see we have got the debugger here, means this functions got triggered. Okay, if I select this much, you can see particular that text box is selected. Inside this value will be at the last. So you can see in value we have got whatever the value is typed into the text box. So that is what nothing we have written. If I select everything, you can see my name is Roshan. F10. Currently this name doesn't have anything. Okay, but once I run this line, in the name we have got the value, and same we are passing to the other. So my name is Roshan is printed. Okay, so this is how we write the event. Since that was a button, okay, so if I have a drop down, let's say instead of the text box, let's take a drop down, select, we have option value, let's say ngp Nagpur, like that. Let's add two more cities. Okay, so in this drop down we have three options which is having city name. So let's dp real city, this is my id. Fourth option will be for other, this will be other. Okay, if I have selected the other text box, then I have to show this particular div, particular text box to enter the other field. Okay, so first initially I will hide this display none. Okay, now if we have to write the event on the drop down, because drop down has the options, at the time only one option will be selected. So once we select, once we change the other option, so it is a change event. Okay, so for that on change event is there, on city change, opening, closing. Now we have to create this function as well. Again function, my function name, round bracket, curly bracket. Okay, so here we can add a statement like if, again we have to see like what the current value of the drop down is being selected. So for that, document.get element by id, instead of text name we have to this, then equal to, then double quotes. If selected value is other, then we have to open the curly braces. Inside that we will first select the text box and we'll add the dynamic style. Text box is using txt name dot style dot display is equal to block. It will show the element. Okay, so let's see and let's save and check. Let's just start the debugger. 28 line number. Okay, so currently Nagpur is by default selected. If it is Pune, so see current the selection, we have current selection as Pune, so it is not equal to other, so it won't go to the if block. Okay, continue. But if I say other, so now left hand side value we have got other, and here also we are comparing with other, so it is true, so it will go to the in block. And here inside the block we are just adding the dynamic style to the text box to make it visible. So you can see we have got the other text box visible. But one problem is if I am selecting Pune again, because we don't have the else block to hide the text box, so we just need to add the else block. Okay, here we just need to again add the none style to that. Save and check. Okay, if other is selected, you get to see the other text box. If I'm selecting the city, it is getting hidden. Okay, so we have seen the click event that will work on the button, and change event it will be on the drop down. Okay, so let's see one more event that was on mouse over and on mouse over. Let's say we have a label. Let me create a bootstrap grid. Okay, so I have just created one simple bootstrap form. So here you can see we have certain labels. Okay. Now if I am hovering my mouse on this particular label, on gender, on full name and select city, I need to add some background color to that, and once I remove that, color should be gone away. Okay, so for that we need to add event, that is on mouse over, then add color will be my function. Let's add this function, add color, opening closing curly bracket. Okay, so once we hover on this mouse, we need to select that label and add a dynamic style. So we can do that using document.getElementValue, but we need to send that particular element also. So to send that particular element, we can send the parameter from here like this. This means this particular DOM element we will get in that function. Here parameter element will be there. Okay, so now instead of this, let me copy this. Instead of selecting this particular thing, we can directly use element, because that is what we are sending from the event. So we have to use color, and let's make it red. Okay, save and check. So we have just added a event on the first name. So you can see once I hover, we get the red color. Remaining I have not added, so let's just add that. So this same function will go over all the labels. Here also, here also, and here also. Okay. So you can see wherever I am going, red color is getting added. Okay. Now on entering the mouse on that label, we have to add it. But once I leave that mouse, we have to remove that. So for that, we have to write another function, that is on mouse out, remove color, that is my event. Okay, so let's copy paste this, and along with this parameter also, means we are sending the current element to that function as a parameter. Now in remove color, we have to create the function. Again, function, opening closing, function name, curly bracket, and we are going to get the parameter. So same line we have to use. Instead of red, we have to make black. Okay, so if you see I'm hovering, so it getting red color is getting applied. If I am removing, you get black color. Same thing. Okay, so this is how we have seen like click event, change event, and the on mouse over. Like that we have a number of events based on the requirement. We have to use it. Like click, like that double click is also there. Okay, so this is about the events. Next part is, that is the last one, that is storage. So let's say we have to store some data in this browser. Okay, so we have two types of storage that we normally use, that is session storage and the local storage. Again, we have cookie. Okay, but cookie has some specific purpose. Okay, so let's see how we store the data. Okay, let's just add two buttons. Let's just remove this button and paste it over here. Let's make it save data, and instead of read value, let's make it save data. Okay, so we have to create this function save data, opening closing curly braces. Okay, so let's suppose on click of save, we just need to save the first name and the last name into my session storage. Okay, so for that we need to read the values from that text box. This is one value, this is another value. Let's just txt first name over here, txt last name over here, f name, l name. Okay, so we have two variables. Now we have to store this into session storage. Okay, so session storage and the local storage both have some quite a difference. Like session storage data will be valid unless you close the tab. Okay, if you close the tab, that data will be removed. But if you store the data into local storage, data will be always there unless you clear it. Okay, so both you can see in the application. Just click on the application. Here you can say local storage, and bottom to that we have the session storage. Okay, so let's say, okay, so to store the data we have session storage dot set item to store the data. Okay, to set item we have two parameters, so you can see key and the value. So in session storage we can store the data using key and the value. So key is string first name, this is my key, then we have to provide the value, which is second parameter. Value will be f name. Okay, next thing we have to add second. So again same line, just key will be different and value will be different. Instead of first name it will be last name. Same, this L name will goes over here. Let's save and check. Okay, let's add it. Searching in local. Okay, on click of currently if you say in session storage we don't have anything. Okay, now if I click on save data, let's go back to the application. So you can see first name and the last name along with the value we have got. Okay, so using set item we store the values into the session storage. Likewise, if I have to get the value, so let me just add another value, another button, and button will be read data. Instead of save data, read data. We have to create this function space function name round bracket curly bracket. Okay, so we just need to read the data back. Okay, so I will need a variable to store the data. I can session storage dot get item. So to get item, then if you can see only one parameter we have to send, that is key. Okay, so key is like whatever we have set, so that is the first name. Okay, like that, name, and this is the key. Let's save and check it. Okay, in the application, in the session storage you can see last name and the first name, there are two keys with respective values is also there. If I click on read, let me just add a debugger. Read data F10. So you can see we have got searching, and in last name we have got the tentacle. So with this we can read the data from the session storage. So as we have seen, set item is to store the value into the session storage. Get item is to get the value. Like that, if we have to remove particular key, so we have remove item and we have to pass the particular key. Let's say first name I am passing it over here. So after these two lines we will remove the first name key. Okay, let me disable, enable it again on click of read data. So now if you can see we have two keys present over here. So F10. Now once this line run, that if we go into the application, you can see first name is getting removed. So we have removed that using this. Okay, so one more method is session storage dot clear. So what it will do, it will clear, it will remove all the keys we have in session storage. Okay, so these are all methods we have. Like this we have, instead of session storage we have to use local storage. The methods are same: set item, get item, remove item, and clear. Okay, so all four methods are the same. Now what is the difference? So local storage will have all the information. If you can see in the local storage I have this data. Even if I close this, let me just copy the URL, and if I close this tab and open it again, let's see the application tab. So first we will check the session storage. So see, session storage data got cleared, but in the local storage we have still that data. Original, it was the old data I had. So same data is present over there. Okay. So this is everything what you need when you are starting for the JavaScript. So this is just the basic overview. I hope you have liked this. You must have liked this video. So please do like and subscribe. Thank you. Again, we will come with the next part. Again, we will see some advanced part of the JavaScript. That's it.